Yesterday, the shrinks rang me up and said they would come today and put a knife through my head or something like that to make me normal or something stupid, which I thought I was. So I can't really stop them. So I've asked my employer to take a court injunction, or what's called a stay of execution, after he didn't want to do so. One of his employees, hopefully a valuable employer, but a coffee shop. He's actually one of these wealthy people in Dubai, I understand, and he wants to find an alternative source of power because, like everywhere else, all supplies are running low. That's what it is. And of course his money will disappear. So everything will go wrong if they'll stop flying. Nobody wants that. A lot of the things I'm doing are based on the philosophy of the Green Party to produce an alternative source of power, and this machine I'm trying to build, which is behind me, is one of those. And it has been produced before when I was working in a government research station, and I was told to keep it secret for 30 years, not forever, for 30 years. That's what they said. But not talk about it for 30 years. That's what I was told. And well, that was over 30 years ago, more like 40 or 50 years ago, I don't remember. And so I feel free to talk about it. So there's no problem. I mean, there are other things I heard about there which are very unpleasant, but they didn't tell me to keep it secret, and I never signed the Official Secrets Act. That's the problem. If you don't sign the act, you can't prosecute it. And I lost my job because I wouldn't sign the Official Secrets Act. No, not because I particularly wanted to talk about the things I did there. They're not that interesting. It's mostly about satellites and stuff. Okay, so nothing dangerous about that. Well, now I'm going to start putting the amplifier on the rest of the oscillator, which is actually an oscillator powered by a battery, and that drives the high tension in the car. That starts. So this is what I call the ignition oscillator, and this is the amplifier. It's I can't finish it, but I've got to put a device on, and I'll get the glue to glue the heatsink on there. It's quite a good heatsink on there later today, so I'll do it there. And I've got to drill a hole in this to put a bolt through, hold it in place, and I need to put a big bolt through to put the terminal on. I'm going to put one of these bolts, it's a very big bolt, goes through there, and that connects to the crudely made link to make the link to put the transistor in a circuit. The other connection is very much finer, because that's the gate, which is relatively low, almost zero current. There is a current, but it's faster, but it's a small amount of current. Now what I'm going to do is put one hole in here, need two holes in here to take the support bolts, so that when I put the big bolt in, it doesn't rotate, because that would destroy to take the connection off, so the transistor off. So I've got to be very careful. So I'll be using an electric drill. When you do this, it all has to be thought out beforehand. And you've only got one trial. Well, not necessarily. You can do it several times, but if you're lucky. But basically, you don't have many trials, so you can't. Well, you can. You can start again. That's how it is. But limited resources, like I have, it's different. You can't actually start again. Now, with making a hole, you make a small hole first, and then a big hole. Take a screw. You do that throughout the system. It's a 4mm drill with a 4mm bolt. For the small one, it's a small bolt to secure. It's two small bolts going in to secure it. And I'll drill a 3mm hole first, which is easier. And I should really center punch it, but I haven't got a center punch now. I just have a pressure one I pushed on. And people insanely thought I was breaking windows, because they are used for that purpose. But I don't use it for that purpose. Some people use that for purpose, so therefore he is. They say, for example, a metal patient, which doesn't exist, will use tools incorrectly for the wrong purpose, basically. I tend to use them for the purpose of so intended, which is not obvious to them, and they think soldiering are subverting people, and flamethrowers are setting fire to houses, and all sorts of rubbish, which are used for that, and criminals do use it for that, but I don't. I'm not interested in doing that. Now I'm going to put a drill a hole here without destroying the circuit. Now I could have done it first, but I didn't, because you didn't know where the bit of metal was going. When you put it in, I really sense much, but I don't know much to do it up. These pressures you push in sometimes. I don't have a light here, so I can't see what I'm doing. It's very difficult. It's actually very difficult to do this. That didn't work. It's stood off. It's copper, so very soft, but it's much harder than wood, which I usually use, or plastic. So it's actually quite difficult to drill into. Normally you have a special centre drill, simple functional centre drill, but I haven't got one. So I don't have any choice but I do. It should be fine in this. I'll need a pillar drill as well, and a clamp, which I don't have. It's made a very small indentation, that's not a very sharp bit, which probably is sharp. I have to sit down with a bit tight. So there are problems with making holes in things. And expecting a knock on the door around, I think they said they come in about how much later or 9 o'clock or something. I can't remember whether they want to basically kill me. Because they got all sorts of, they have trumped up charges against me, which is the excuse, but the real reason is to, well, I'm not sure what their reason is. It doesn't make sense. You know, they talk about it's not basically a religious attack. As I say things like the existence of life on other planets and so on, which to me is trivial. And it's something in America which is very normal, and in most parts of the world, because it's corresponding to a chemical process called life on another planet is nothing special. In this country it's crime. I believe that's the case, but I can't help that. You can't help what you believe. Most people are taught their beliefs in childhood. I don't think I was a child in England, that was the problem. I was elsewhere during those years, and I was probably, my mother seemed to think I was born in Germany, but I don't remember, I was too young. And anyway, I don't know. So and she said, my birth certificate says my father was a Major Strevers, who is a well-known soldier, I believe, but I don't know about him. But in the Second World War. And the Hungarians who supported Hitler said that without my father, they would have won. I don't know that. So it's, now I can't get a purchase of this, but it's just with the drilling together. It isn't bite. It doesn't bite until the centre bit gets through, and then it does. And well, she indicated to me that my father was Hitler. Now, I don't know that's true or not, because I don't remember. Now, I never met her, I don't remember Hitler or what he was like. So, what my mother said about him was actually basically he became a horrible man and did some awful things. And apparently she shot him. So, well, I support that. I don't know what was going on, because I don't remember, but she did tell me. And she said she shot him because people were attacking him. I don't know what it was. It was during the Chamberlain conference, and my mother was trying to defend him with a gun, and I put him hit Hitler. He didn't die straight away. He was taken to hospital, and I'm told in Germany, when I went to Germany to see my father, who was my other father, so to speak, who was in the British Occupation Army of the Rhine. I don't know what date it was, but I was quite young. And they looked after me because I came a bit of tearaway, which we would do. She couldn't go with me. And I discovered in the school, the government school I went to, that Hitler didn't take any further part of the war after that. He was knocked out so badly injured he couldn't take part. And he went to Salzburg, where eventually he became a landscape artist, which is what it was. And for that place, Salzburg, got mountains all around and nice houses, so forth. It was his favourite town, not where he came from, but had a very strange background. He died in 1953. I was there in 1954. So, I was told. But it's difficult to them. It's very, very difficult to drill. It's only copper. This is supposed to be a copper plate. Hopefully it is a copper plate and not a copper plate. It's steel plate or something. But copper is supposed to be soft. Landing through is very difficult to drill. And the bigger hole will be even more difficult to drill. And it's a pretty sad situation to have to do that. And I said to Max would help, because he went hole first. Actually, it's stopped drilling very well. I don't know why. The drill is can't see, but my eyes have gone, old age. And so it's a long job. Building these devices up, though, is a long job. This has been 6 years' work, but not all of the same machine. I follow the machines, I tried to do it cheaply and simply, and safely and so on, but it didn't work. Because, I don't know what, I don't know. I read the history of the war, so I should say there was all sorts of trouble going on. And I don't support Hitler, I didn't do the drilling. And, but if my father's made of 70, which my birth certificate says, and I'm on a royal family, which is quite interesting. I don't know what's happening, I can't really see what I'm doing. There's a light on here which helps me to see, but I mean a light a place where I don't mind. The light I did have broken with the circle was broken. I have to take that back. And I have a debt now on my credit card, not huge, but I have to start paying it off as soon as I see the debt appear on the web page of the thing. It's not very good, this, is it? Normally it cuts through some of these drills aren't very sharp. At first they're high-speed steel drills, I won't go through at all if they're wood drills. Let's have a look. This is high-speed steel drills. I don't understand, it's not very good. Well, and it's a 3mm drill, so it should go quite quickly. You can't use big drills because they're all about too much. But even small drills are all the best. It slips, it's 3 walls about. You've got to make a hole first, with a centre punch, and that gives the grip to work. And I can't do that because I haven't got one. And, when I went 5 4 drill, I didn't do it. I had difficulty. It's wobbly about it. So it's true. I was actually taught hand tool practice at school in London. Shop practice, we did use a lathe and so on. Now in this country, the people who use lathes can't choose what the lathe is used for. They don't have any choice. They're prisoners, and they could do other things, they like to do other things, which they don't have to do and make. Usually it's a single object, which they make more over and over again. Now I did attempt to do that, but I found I couldn't do the simple repetitive actions like that. They say, according to the philosophy of psychiatry, soft philosophers, there's a natural tendency to repeat, and I agree, everything you do is a repeater. But if you're somehow, if you're doing things, just pushing holes in things, you can do it unconsciously, but it doesn't last very long. Eventually the nervous system rebels and you stop. And I found I just collapsed. I was found collapsed because I only wanted to do this simple repetitive task which is involved over and over again. Even the lathe is quite complicated, but the first one is gave up, even so. After that, I do it. But I think I got a job which was quite semi-skilled or skilled of assembling, I don't know what it was, some sort of machine, some sort of tank or something, some sort of bit of metal. I was involved quite complicated operations, which I did. The first one I did okay. And then that's what we got an I tend to do. So I thought, well, I'm not going to do that. But well, it was money, but you know, this work, the factory work, is abnormal for human beings. I mean, the workshop practice, what I'm doing now is workshop practice. It's normal. And there are places where you do pressure typing and you just do one. But you don't become to design it or have any part of it. So, I mean, I was told that I could get a job with a local capitalist, but unfortunately he was over in Molesey, which is quite difficult to get to. And I had heart disease and stuff, and I couldn't drive. I had to do a car, and I did sort of recover from what I did drive a car about. But it was, you know, it was during the rush hour. It was very difficult to get to Molesey, so I don't know where it is. But I did go there, but it took me ages to get there. And well, I don't know what the place produces, but it did make, I think, prototypes for people. And he wasn't interested in producing this at all, really. I did try to talk to him to do that, but he wasn't interested. I don't think he understood it. And, well, the man, well, I don't know, he was a clever man, I'm sure of him, but anyway, he read my web page, which came into account, he said, what are you driving at? You know, so well, but he couldn't see the wood for the trees, basically, and that's a problem. And I don't know why, but he was obviously an entrepreneur, he was a skilled man, and he was, I don't know what he did, but he was a designer as well. But anyway, he wasn't interested in me, or my designs. He was interested in, we wanted me to work in press-up soldering, which is actually a good job. But I don't have the eyesight for that sort of thing. I used a pin iron, which is very small. I wouldn't have managed to, I may have to sort of glass and so on, but it could have been done, but it's one of those things. And, it's difficult to adapt to such a situation. And it would have been a job, but I didn't understand it. I mean, I really don't know what they're talking about. And the money that I had then, which was not very much, he wanted to invest in his company, and then I would work. Well, there is a possibility of setting up a company like that and investing money in it yourself. His way of going about it, and he did a way of making money. It would have been probably a good idea, but because these people use nasty techniques on me, I didn't like it. And their idea was to do that, probably to put away me and use me as a factory slave, which is probably work in a factory. That's what they do to people. And they've got a Christian factory slaves, and people will mind this, people who work in the slave, not what's doing, and they want to do it to everybody. They've done this research on how to destroy the brain without a body dying or something. This a dead person is made to work, basically. The brain dead person is made to work on the machine, and they can do it. And they can't, well, of course they can, but the Romans used it, and they self-produce without seeds. But it's, of course, a crime. It's just about having 1,000 years useful. It's a crime. And that's what they want to do to me, to turn me possibly into a machine, actually a trainable machine, to do something like this. So the higher mind which designed it isn't there, so it can't be used. So I couldn't design, can't do anything like that, or I could do holes. They are a specialist company of people all doing specialist things. That's how it works. And of course, my understanding of electronics is limited. I've got some skills as design electric science. I do know something about it, and I have done it. I've done circuit theory and so on, but you know, designing amplifiers to me is trivial because they're only set circuits, and you just put in the values, and you change the transistor, you know, the characteristics and the width, and use a load line and so on. I don't remember it, but what they did to me is degrade, because I was trying to do that, and they degraded me. It's all skills, you know, higher than the muscles, all skills, and it does use a whole brain. They've got this silly idea that the part of the brain makes money is somewhere else. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Whole theory of psychiatry is nonsense. It appears to be somebody do this church, and the idea is that you learn from your father, and he just passes on. Well, that is true, but what you do from your father does include the higher mind things, and the skills we have, freedom, fine control, which requires control of this, the extrapyramidal system. If that's damaged, you can't do fine control. You can draw crude pictures, but not good pictures. They're like apes, monkeys, basically. And, I was told that people can make a plan of three steps. Well, that's what apes and monkeys can do. And so I don't know where they got the idea from, because most plans contain thousands of steps, contain much physical information. And so this is all planned and took a long time. So basically it involves recursion and going back and look again, and all. It's very complicated. Planning is very complicated. Most people can do it, can't do it. But I went to taught a class of children and gave them a simple planning test. And they couldn't do it. They knew all the steps, but they couldn't put them together. I don't know why. Even the idea of training them to do things, the way even in university they train you to do things a certain way. But most people with intelligence can get the information and learn the basic ideas and then string it together themselves called a plan. And and it's very important. It's actually a sorting process. You can know the end product, but you sort. It's a sorting process. You can do on a computer to get from A to B. There's plenty of sorting programs to do that. And it's one of the things which is exercise, which I'm not very good at basically. But it was a program and the training place. Especially just like an algorithm, which is standard. And that's what we do. That's what our brains do. Now, I don't know how the brain does it. It doesn't involve an intact brain. If they damage it, you can't do it. So I've seen, when I was in Sunday, I saw a woman who was actually, it appears to be she was doing sort of serving the shop or something, and after a short time she cleaned up in time. But they decided to give her this brain operation just like that, and she was unable to clean. She couldn't do it. And then when she was there, she knew she had to go home, but she got lost all the time. And well, that's the problem, because she couldn't work out how to get home. So that's how bad it is. And Uncle Arthur, when he was after he's given this operation, to stop him, was going to his workshop we had in the back garden. It was quite small, and just going there. He wanted to do something. I don't know what he wanted to do, but he wanted to do something. He stopped and stood there. And that's what they did to me when I worked at the Apple Corporation. When I got to work, I could get to work, and I went to my bench, but I just stood there. I did not know what to do. Now, their idea was, I don't know why they did it to me, but they wanted to do me run errands as well. So it was, and I couldn't work them out. They told me to go somewhere. I could remember one step, only one step. So I could remember. And they said I was a store one step. So you couldn't go to me. They couldn't use me. So that was it. As I said, at one time I was doing my branch work and neutron stars and so on. But I don't know why. I wanted to stop doing it. What the idea of the doctors is, I do not know. They got this drilled into the class system, and but I had a degree, so I was in a good job, which was not quite as low as what the guys are slightly above. And to me, a job, an aerostat is doing the job. You know, if you want to be as an administrator, but that's a job. And this brain damage to people, which is being exported out of the country, is a terrible atrocity, because it doesn't interfere with the mind itself. And the idea is, the people are crippled. And, so it should be done. Now this drill, I'm going to think about this drill. I'm going to stop recording now because it's very boring. And it's very difficult to drill hole this. It's too hard. It must be hard for them. What to do? So it's a good drill. Our drills are better on that. Anyway, I'm going to turn this off, because I've done this sort of work for years, and my work involves both the planning and the execution, so to speak. So there's no reason to do anything to me at all. And they probably will come and do that, and I'll just come in and stand here, so I won't do anything. And they may be able to get me to go somewhere. They train people to do things. Well, that's not humanity. That's madness. And well, I'm 71 now, so it'll be pretty difficult to do anything. So evil. They think must work for money. Well, this is for money. I'm doing it for money, but I haven't got the money income yet. They want to go immediate reinforcement. Well, I do get income, and that allows me to do it. And this man who employs me, he's trying to get funding for me, and well, whether they're paying me a wage or not, I don't know. But it will make things better. It's a pretty bad situation. I really don't understand it, where they get the ideas from. And when I was working at King's University, it was difficult to work there because the boss was basically bullying people and terrorising people by lobotomising people in front of him, in front of others, and it really was a terrible place. And I think they had a lecture. I did see the end of it. I tried to get. I wasn't able to get there, but it was about, I don't know what it was about, career advancement. One of the things they did was lobotomise a girl from the class, and it's pretty appalling. I did see it, and that's what happened. So, and the whole company, the whole university was involved. Apparently, it's modern medicine to kill people, but it's what it does. And the person that lobotomised was no longer there. They did do things, they took their clothes off, a big deal. But, so pretty sick people around. Most men aren't interested in that sort of thing. Normal people don't see good, they see a sick person. Well, I see a naked girl just not doing anything. So, if she's laughing and calling her, that's sort of normal. But if she's just standing there, that's a sickness. And hypnosis does the same thing, it confuses the brain, and the person stops. The person only disappears and becomes unconscious. This operation in the brain somehow generates the consciousness, and if that stops, the person is no longer there, they're dead. So an awful lot of brain dead people are walking dead, basically, and it's appalling. And Britain has gone like it. I don't know why. And they talk about insurrection. I wasn't aware there was an insurrection. No idea. But apparently, in Britain, if you start a business or you do anything and you're not in the right class, then that's an insurrection. But if my birth certificate is true, I was in the right class. Now I don't know why they want to turn me out, but I have. Now, if you're in that class, you can discuss things that I do, and what happens. I have opinions which vary from the. And it's normal for people in the right class. I'm in that class. I was brought up to it. But anyway, where Hitler came from, I don't know. But they may have brainwashed that into me, that sort of stuff. Sort of thing they do. And awful people. And they damage the brain to break people, ordinary, law-abiding, happy people, into miserable people who commit crimes. And that's where that comes from, I don't know. They turn people into criminals in hospitals, they don't kill them. They weren't criminals before, they come out they are. And they told me they would do that to me if I didn't join their church. Well, they didn't do anything at church at all. I have been a member of a local church for most of my life. I didn't believe what they taught, but I did go. And I wasn't a Christian. I did go to church. I listened to it. It didn't make any sense at all. Not one word of what they said made sense. The priest would stand up and talk. But he was asking for money, and you could see through it. And a lot of them would worry. They would communicate that enough communion, and they wouldn't go heaven. Well, communion is only mine. It won't make you immortal. It really is not. It really is. But their idea is that communion washes away sin. Well, they say if I go and have communion, they won't kill me. Well, all right, give me communion. Throw holy water at me, whatever they want to do. Well, could have been burned alive. But that's what I want to do. That's what they want to do. Burn me alive because I don't have communion. And communion is only a glass of wine and some bread, which is actually remembering Jesus. All it is. That's what the Torah says. You remember Jesus. Well, big deal. I do remember Jesus. And some sects have it every morning with breakfast. That's right. Glass of wine and bread. That's remembering Jesus. So that's all it is. That's communion is. So that's a big deal. I had a glass of wine with food yesterday. It's normal. There's nothing special about Christianity at all. There's a lot of tripe, really. And remembering Jesus is okay. His teachings are okay. Good man, I've read about him. I've seen what his teachings are. But they don't see the wood for the trees. Jesus said basically how to live with death, not overcome it, and get on with your life before you die. You won't have after. It's all there, and they just don't see that. They're more concerned whether you go to heaven through Jesus or something. Nonsense. And that's what Jesus said at the time. Too concerned with going to heaven than actually go on with your life. There's no point being dead, because you're dead forever. And they think the great afterlife, well, basically, is to stop. I mean, it's not necessarily an afterlife, being in heaven, all the angels, all nonsense. How could it be? It makes the universe very cluttered with all sorts of angels and all sorts of nonsense. The scientific view is much simpler, actually. It's unpleasant when we die, and the priests actually make money out of death here. That's what they're doing. They invented this, appears to be invented that version. I mean, Jesus was a miracle person and so on, and he may have done the miracles, he said, and may have come back from the dead, but that doesn't make you well. And, well, he's gone now, wherever he was. And basically, when we die, and all this drivel, they're actually making money, and the priests become powerful by controlling people, by worrying them about death. That's what they're doing. And priests make money, and I was told by a bishop, basically, that he feared losing his income. And he said if it was found what they were doing, which it does include making people slaves by damaging their brain, among other things, and having sex and having concubines and so on, they'd tear the priests apart. And that's what Hitler did, he hanged them. Well, they seem to be sabotage to others, but when you find out what priests are doing, you find maybe it's justified. Well, I'm not hanged, really. I'll be hanged myself. They hang people in church, you know. And so most churches, they knife people at the head, which is a lot of me. It's appalling. The place is broken down completely. Now, I don't actually believe in all this Muslim killing people either. They come out with machine guns. Well, that's what happens when civilization breaks down. One person will crime, another person will commit a crime. So if your friends get killed, you kill the person who killed your friends. It's pretty awful. Man is incapable of this civilized living for any length of time. Civilization just at the surface. So it's not actually very thick, superficial. And I do fear they may come and kill me, because it would just abolish my consciousness, and I'll become a robot. But I want it, if they do it, I want to do it from this machine, so it's visible to everybody. And everybody will see what they do. That's how it is. And that's what the anathema, where somebody does things that don't work. Sorry, I don't know what it is. They say it's anathema design. Well, basically, it's designed by an atheist. But I don't think Hitler was an atheist, actually. And Tesla, I don't know what his origin was, but it appeared the Serbian religion is Christianity. Well, it is Eastern Orthodox Christianity, but it is, in this country, they say Eastern Orthodox Christians don't exist because of the Great Schism. And but if you read the history of the Bible, you know about it. And most Bible scholars would know that, but a lot of ordinary people don't. And when they see an Eastern European, they think he's an enemy, or some sort of exophobia, some sort of animal. That's what it is. They're not human. Well, in fact, Eastern Europeans have a similar religion to the Catholics, but it's not the same. I'm not quite sure what the distance is, but when I was in Russia, I married a girl in an Eastern Orthodox church, and they don't accept it. They say, they're not part of the Catholic communion, so the marriage didn't take place. And she was left. And I didn't have to support her, I sent money, but, well, that's the end of it. But the people are mad. I mean, the Russians are not the enemy. The Americans, they say the Americans are the enemy because they're discovering life on other planets. They're science. They don't like scientists. They're killing scientists. Well, I'm not a scientist. I have a science degree, but I'm not a scientist. Scientists practice the scientific method. I don't. I just do things. And they talk, how are your thoughts today? I don't have any. Well, they come and kill you for that. They're nonsense. Do you hear voices? Nonsense. It's not. You can be persuaded to, but they're really nasty people. Psychiatrists. It's about killing somebody, getting rid of them. But they do want to kill me. That's what I want to do. For whatever reason, it's the aristocrats who want to kill me. Well, I'm actually an aristocrat myself. But and since I was a monk once, I started as a monk. I didn't take the vow of silence, and I wouldn't take the vows. But one of them is vow of silence to keep quiet about what they do to people when they don't believe it, and that's wrong. So, well, these people, the Christian faith, Christianity is obviously lets you teach a disease, they're all right. But these people, bigoted people who are mad about heaven, is insane. They're insane. There's nothing I can do about it because I'm trapped in this country. I can't get out. And even so, in France, they're all Catholics. The Russians are all Eastern Orthodox. And of course, Muslim countries, this was the last 5 minutes. I don't know much about them, but so it is. Islam is an alternative, which it means the truth, basically. And that, what I've just said is what the Muslims believe. And no, as far as they're concerned, that's true. And they can't accept that people do different things. Madness. They think if everybody believes in Jesus or everybody's dead, Jesus will come. Even talking about blowing up the planet so the devil will come out and Jesus will take over. It's absolute nonsense. It really is. It's not possible to blow up the planet. You can make a mess of it, melt it, so, but melt the surface and take away the atmosphere and so on. But they want to kill people. That's all right. They're genocide. It is almost genocide. I think, in a sense, they're killing their own people. It's racial suicide. I don't think there is a word for that. Racial suicide, and they want to kill everybody. The human race does it. It's something to do with the number of segments of the brain. If you go around the universe, which I've heard about, you find a certain number of segments of the brain. If there aren't enough, the people do in fact kill themselves. That's because you know you're going to die and you can't escape. And the next step is to get on with your life before you die. But they can't do that. So now each logical step requires a segment, or whatever it is, something like that. And I don't know quite sure exactly how it works, but and they talk about making people normal by cutting off segments or translating the way it is as science, but the people then become terrified and commit suicide. So, madness, isn't it? It really is madness. Any damage to this thing up here, as the controller, causes serious problems. When I worked with J.J. Young, we found there's no operation of the brain would do anything other than produce sort of deficiency of operation. And, it really is an awful society. I don't know what they think they're doing. I think the leader of the country, or whoever is leading the country, nothing wrong with them, they're psychopaths. Now, according to the legend, Strevens, which is me, Strevens is one of the knights who came over with the conqueror, but he wasn't as bad as the others, as I was told. So, and Strevens is a member of Parliament, so it's a joke. But they jeer at me, and they say, well, if the judges are all criminals, how can we judge? Well, that's what the Bible says. Well, they are. Well, the judges are criminals, so what can you do? I was elected to be a judge at one time, but I found they were criminals. They have sex parties, where girls some are controlled and possibly probably brain damage, and do scenarios which involve rescuing sex and so on. And that's what they dress up in these special clothes, do their garter, and that's what they do, rape people. I don't know what happens to the girls, but that's how it is. And the royal family are fascinating. They talk about women all the time. It's an illness. Obviously, women is a person, and when you get married, you bring up a family and you have a homestead. That's the tradition, but they don't do that. They're sick. But they're supposed to have the facade of it, go around with clothes and things. That's called dressing up. That's the facade. What they're like. They're real savages. And it's pretty awful. So they're quite happily tearing me apart, maybe for lunch. They're cannibals as well, yeah. Cannibalism goes back thousands of years, and the people who rule the planet are actually descendants of cannibals. And I'm not quite sure. But some people evolved not to eat other people. So they think we're distasteful. But in fact, if people eat, people become ill. They become savages, and blood does that. But human blood has some effect, worse. And they really are savages. If a person who's eaten a man is a real savage, they'd have a certain attitude, a certain way of behaving, and you can see that in the royal family if you get anywhere near them. And my relatives who live around here are actually cannibals. I don't do it. I'm not interested. I don't wish to kill it. No, it's very difficult to kill someone. For me to kill someone, I couldn't. So a few of my enemies who attack me, I can't fight back. But I'm just unable to. Something I can't do. As I see another human being. But when I was a child, it's not done paper like that. But growing up, you learn that other people appear around the world like you with feelings. And the people who attack me have absolutely no feelings at all. Really are evil people. And well, so it is. They talk about this thing being higher than this. Well, as far as I know, as far as I can see, I'm much the same as anybody else. And they fear me. I'm not dangerous. And if intestinal wants to help the world, so he murders him. And that's what they do. People want to do good, so they do good as they call them, they kill them, which is nonsense. And they cause a lot of trouble. But they say capitalists will solve the problem. Well, I'm a capitalist. I'm helping. And a capitalist who solve problems to the world are beneficial to the world. I'm not being a capitalist. A communism which was actually to protect workers from the aristocracy, that's what it was, and deal with sharing things. But they tried to set up a system where the bullies couldn't take over, well, in fact, it wasn't possible, and they did take over. The people in Russia still think like communists, but there's communists and communists, so to speak. And they're not communist. In Hungary, it is a communist country, and but the farmers are very poor, get about 15 pence an hour, and the onion farmers that have pen and peelers, they get a penny an onion, all done by hand. It could be done by machine, but that would disgrace the workers, wouldn't it? So it's a very poor country, and very bad, and it really is awful. But, anyway, I can't do anything but the machine. This machine, I have a number of inventions, nothing especially original about them. This is one of none of them original, so I call them inventions, but I've heard about from other people, I've learned from other people, and as far as I'm concerned, I didn't invent them, but invention is really no such thing. It's just development. Each invention is development of something else. That's true of all invention. It is an inventive step, that's all. And this thing I'm building, I was told when I built this, every time I build this thing, which is whenever I build anything, each thing is full of inventive steps, which I'm told that people cannot do. I was told that the African version I could do things they couldn't, and that was a problem. And so they chopped my brain in half to stop me being able to do it. So I lost my job, and they lost what I thought was a contribution. They wanted. Don't want to know. You go to college, take a training course. That's how it works. Well, that's all right. But where does the stuff come from in the first place? Somebody had to invent it. For those concerned, there's no inventors, no philosophers, no geniuses, nothing. Just workers, and they think it is real. Highly told them actually. He had this wonderful idea of an economy that just went by itself with no intelligence. Yeah, well, too much factory workers don't know what the factories are producing, and there's not a requirement to do so. But some of them want to know. In communist factories, they did know, and they knew what they were doing. Except in Attenborough factories, of course, I didn't know that. But so it is. When you go to a factory, you just do a simple operation on a machine. Each movement you make is an operation, and they cut down the number of operations to make it simple. When I was at Biafra, I had a time motion study person coming in to train me to work quickly, and I collapsed. I couldn't do it. I do things differently each time I do it. And he didn't like that, so eventually I collapsed on the floor. And he was using various simple conditioning processes. They do that to girls too. They can gain control of the girl quite easily just by controlling the food supply. And it's a very simple process to train somebody. You can train without stuffing a newspaper on a table and so on, which is disturbing because it's a negative conditioning. It's not good. If you reward them, they work for you. And if girls are easy to control, not quite as easy to men. The lower family under control can make them slaves, but we all naturally interact with each other like this. But it's one of those things. But women are second-class citizens by nature of their behaviour, nature of their bodies and so on. They're wired up. They're wired up to work like a man and have babies, and they instinctively support the man who looks after them. It's instinctive. The man is supposed to look after them all, but it's so it is, and but I really don't, it's the same idea. It's instinctive. That's right, it is, but there's no need to down the brain. It's nonsense, and it's pretty sad. But man is able to understand the learning process and control people artificially. And man and animals can be trained, and some of these people, the secret society like Freemasons, train men. I was showing a picture photograph, which where the man and the dog were trained to do that photograph So it was pretty sick. It's not difficult to train people, but if you have freedom, free animal, although they learn, they're not trained. It's not the same thing. It's artificial. I think it's natural, but it's not very nice. It's a sad world. A free man does what he wants to do, and his own free will. He interacts with the environment and other people in a free way, and that's how it should be. But the Normans don't want that. They want us as slaves. And a Norman across the road who says he's a Queen cousin, well, I am too, basically, whatever it is, and they say I'm Hitler's son, all sorts of stuff like that. But they want me to work for their him for money. Not very much, about a penny an hour or something to clean the floor. Well, he does work quite well cleaning his own floor. I'm going to clean my floor in here. I do that. A pretty sad situation. But I did ask for work from him. I did write to him, so I needed money urgently, could I have a job? I never got one. He didn't even respond. And that's how it is. Being employed meaning doing what somebody else wants to do. That's difficult. When you work in a company, you work together to make a profit, to make money, or for life's sport, basically, and that's natural. And a company is quite small, normally a company that makes normally quite small, and it's friends working together. Now the employees have other people they hire, which is hard labour, and but they're free too because they work for some money, and they can go. But bonded labour, they don't have that choice, and it's really. And they say actually, the person who's employed should go. The person who pays more, Vendor road pays more money. Well, but it's all very well. That's how it is as a series of firms. Now I was brought up to that environment, and I started to be successful as a trader myself. I was quite young, and they slaughtered me. They said I had trouble with me. Trouble. I was told, well, this Natasha knew the case. There was a lot of trouble about me when I was a child because I was doing my own thing. I didn't like that. So that's the end. So freedom is not allowed. Free speech is not allowed. Freedom of thought and action is not allowed in this country. And it's very unpleasant to be here. Well, it is in other countries. In America, it appears to be that there is more freedom. But they do, I understand in some firms, they do things to people. Like some people make dogs and they castrate them and so on. But it's a pretty appalling thing. But in some countries, they would you a form which basically you have to get the firm's medical system and give me a lot of what it is, other things they do. And if you try and leave, you're making yourself unemployed. It's a pretty awful system, zero trapped and high net worth now. And when the black people of America, who are just the same as us, were actually albinos, the black people are the original species, and we're albinos, which there are spontaneous in Africa now again. But so we're just albinos, that's all. And the same people, the same animals. And when the black people got their liberation, they found that they controlled them by, when you buy a house, you have to get a mortgage. That controls them. They're cynical, really are. The rich people don't generally have mortgages. Well, they do. Rich people can get into debt too and get ruined. So it's pretty awful. It really is. It really is. And the only people that do it from debts are debt are people that lend money. And well, people also sort of people, professionals lend money, not just Jews, but that's how it is. No, I'm not anti-Jewish, but the Jewish idea is that they lend some of the money lenders lend money. They can't lend money to a Jew. A Jew can't have a Jew as a slave, but you can lend money to outside Gentiles, and then because the Gentile owes money to him, which is how they make money. They persuade them to take money, and the Gentile then is controlled by the Jew because he owes him money. And the legal system is set up to do that. Well, Hitler, who would I know about him, he said the people who got him into debt, how they did that I don't know, but he's possibly persuaded people to take out debts or steal their money or something. That's what happened to their money was stolen. I don't think the person who stole the money was a Jew, but so it is. And and they get rid of debt, and then they work off their debt over a lifetime, so they're slaves the whole time. So mortgages, and that's how the system works. And the socialist system was to find a way of doing things without that slave system. And before we had money, we had the honor debt system. You know, you do something for somebody, they do something for you. But it's an honor debt, and it is still used. It's understood between friends, honor debt. But the money system is slightly better because the person does a job for you, or you do a job for you, you get paid. That seems to go away. And the disadvantage, that's what happens in large, complex societies because they're not allowed to meet the person again. Well, where I am, which is quite small, you meet the same people every day, and you get used to it, and you find out what they are. And there are people I've met who attempt to get you into debt, ordinary people, and their interest rates are astronomical, you know. And I will lend you money, and you get £11 to £20, you give me £30 back. That's sort of it is. And of course, it can be very nasty if you don't. There's no legal trouble, no legal support for such things, but it is possible to do that. Credit card is safer because it's governed by government regulations and the interest rate is lower. And the better credit you have, the less interest you pay. And as soon as you start paying it off, the interest goes down. That's interesting. When encourages to pay it off, it is quite clever. And I mean, controllable debt, which you can pay off, is not too bad. But you tend to, even when you set up a company, you get into debt. I'm not doing that. What I'm doing is a business, but it's important not to get into debt. Really is, because once you get into debt, you let it. But I am slightly in debt, and I think my income is sufficient to pay it. And I do have a backup because I have this carer who controls my money, and the money I see in these bank statements, I have got a lot of money. Not huge amounts, maybe thousands of pounds, but not millions. But I did have millions, and I was giving it away, which is not a good idea. But you know, in this country, you're not allowed to give money away. You have to make a profit. And when I was young, how old I was, I apparently had £6 million or something like that. And well, my partner at the time was quite young, with children, and she would say, well, I want a big palace. And they said, if you got millions of pounds and you don't buy a big palace, what's the point of it? You know? Well, I wanted to do good works, whatever that was. So they took my money. I don't want to use it for, I'll probably put it in my pocket. And well, in other countries like Saudi Arabia, the princes, who are actually rich people somehow, got inherited wealth or buying it, are actually use their money to benefit the economy. That was quite popular. Now, not everybody across the water, of course, you get these other people who don't. I really don't understand the politics of them, but that's what it is. But a good king cares for his people, a bad king cares for himself. And British kings are bad kings because they do for themselves, but not all of them are. In Poland, you have this sort of good King Wenceslas, and he was known as a good time in Poland. It's known as a good kings and bad kings. But that applies to presidents. Is elected king, can be thrown out, but it's a good president and a bad president, same thing. Now, when you ask somebody whether he works for money or not, I mean, does the President Obama work for money? I don't know. His income does depend on his job, but and that is his advantage in some ways. But you know, he does it not as well. They talk. They're doing things. They appear to be, the motive doesn't appear to be money. You know, they've got the money, and that keeps them hot dinners aside to the worry. But I don't know if and rich people like that, and so once they get disconnected from the slave cycle of working and getting money, they're free to do things in a way that's not for money. You know, and apparently this tradition to work for money. It's pretty sick. You know, if they see me build a street, oh, you have skills, you've got that skill, got that skill. Can I use the skills? You know, that's what I say. An evil man, see what he does, and use that. He doesn't need his money. That's how bad it is, and it's wrong because they do need people from the top down to developers, and well, this is pretty sick. And they work in special places called research stations, and I was in one of those, but the doctors didn't like it. I don't know why, but the doctors didn't like it. they diagnose things in a certain way. Well, the diagnosis what they give me is actually intelligence in the working class. And because I got a degree that I wasn't working class, I would accept that. In fact, he said, yeah, well, it depends on who your father was. You know, who's your father? Well, my father was Major Stubbs in the university, and he was from the royal family, so I'm in the right class. So, and they say, you've done working class all your life? Well, so what? I'm quite proud of being a professional worker. That's what it is. It's my profession. But in fact, what is working class? What does it mean? They support the economy. You can't, the aristocrats can't manage without the workers. They say they can, get some more in, but basically they did run us. Whereas they were asked for food, for building materials, everything. So we should be in charge. They say the administrator, they were born to administrate and all sorts of things. They've got all sorts of delusional beliefs. That's one of them. They were born to be king, so to speak. Unfortunately, they have this delusion instilled into them. It's a God-given gift, but it isn't. It's just taken by force. And that's how they got there. And so they stayed. The rulers in this country ruled by the gun and the knife, as everybody else, mostly by knives, rules with the gun. And because, and the money, they control the money supply, so that's how it is. And it always has been like that. And it's a very nasty place to be. And not much I can do about it, but that's how it is. And I took retirement because I couldn't cope with the work, basically. And I had serious heart problems and prostate disease from every year sort of thing. And I collapsed on the way to work several times. And once I left the stress of work and had operations and treatment, I was able to carry on. I was able to drive a car and walk about for a while. And when in Hungary, I was able to ride a bicycle. In this country, I can't because of the purchase drugs they give me. And that's how it is. So I did ride a bicycle in Hungary. I wasn't very good at it, kept falling off, but I did. I was enjoying life. They don't like people enjoying life. You have to work as a slave for somebody else. And they think, oh, you can ride a bicycle where he's fit. Well, when he's shot, well, you know, even horses like that, they don't like it. And slavery is not pleasant. And Britain is a slave state. Many of the slaves here are brain damaged, not all of them, but basically it's a slave state. And a lot of them are brain damaged now. They've got this program of killing the whole working class. I don't know why they do. They've done research for years, that's what they're doing. They're killing people. And it's a pretty foul situation. As I say, there's nothing I can do about it. But as it requires my permission, they have this Section 3 law, which means it doesn't require the person's permission. They can kill people. It does, they say, benefiting my health, and not really. My cousins, who have probably taken the action, say what I'm doing will bankrupt me. Well, that's my affair. I'm not bankrupt. I have sufficient income. That's a problem. I have sufficient income. I'm not spending huge. They say I'm building a nuclear reactor. They say that costs billions of pounds. Well, the still not build them do cost a billion. So well, I'm building doesn't. It's only a few £100. It probably won't produce any power, but that's what it does. I can't get the film, and I'm not going to because it's too expensive, and you're allowed to have it. But it is a marketable thing, and because they don't believe you. You're so brainwashed. Because the people in power are afraid of it because it will remove the requirement for people to be slaves. I don't like it. You know, it will remove the people's, the aristocrats' income because they have everything's invested in petrol, but it depends on petrol. And it is a source of power. So petrol is nuclear power. Nuclear power is too dangerous to use. But this is something different. This runs off deuterium fusion. It does produce radiation, but if it's done properly, it's less radiation. You and I had in the upper laboratory, there was no radiation, no neutrons detected, nothing. There were some gamma rays, but basically it's fairly safe. So, I don't know why, because although I have some knowledge of physics, it isn't sufficient to understand why not. But it appears the reactions that produce the energy and normally produce neutrons are taken by the power system, and when you blow it, there's no neutrons produced. I don't know why, but so it is, as explorers found. And I'm not producing no neutrons to produce. You know, they're worried about radiation. When I had the Geiger counter, I was detecting things, but apparently it's the electrical signals from the reactor that's doing it, not the radiation, not ionising radiation. Although I did get ion radiation sickness at one stage. It was for shingles when I got sick. I came off with a rash and I was sick. I was sick. And that's radiation sickness apparently. So, yeah, it makes you a bit ill. Well, I did it as far as I know, according to I can't produce the radiations. I had to do that. I think in Victorian times they called them N rays, so you know what they were, neutral radiation N rays. And apparently then they transform them into neutrons. That's what neutrons, obviously, is a particle, whatever it is. But when I was working at Alfred's before they just smashed my brain in, I did produce a theory of atomic structure which didn't involve particles, but it could be quantized, and then that turned it into particles somehow, which it was a quantum theory, and they turned it into particles to make it understandable to their minds. Well, I can't remember what it was, and so it was. The doctors destroyed me. Well, the people in the hospital were actually quite interested, you know, as it was, and they actually frightened of me. I think why. I was making things that made them frightened, you know, as far as I know, simple. And they started to sabotage. People came in to sabotage the whole thing. It was pretty bad. Even Bashir came in with clubs to bash me one. They said I was anathema to God making atom bombs. Well, I was making atom bombs, but I didn't say, well, was, you know, building atom bombs was my job, not using them. I have used them, but that was my job as well. I wasn't in charge, but I was my aim rather than me. Well, I didn't really at all. Situations or it, well, I don't have any atom bombs. I do know how to make an electrical atom bomb, which is going to be made quite cheaply. Fortunately, Bin Laden didn't believe me, so it was used. And I don't sell atom bombs to terrorists anyway, not interested. But they could get on. I think the Muslims are quite clever enough to get on to that. But it was the Muslims did develop one, but the secret was lost to me. That's how it is. It comes and goes. I didn't get it from me, it themselves. I heard about it. I think it was somewhere in Tooting. The lecturer here somewhere in Tooting, I know his name, it was called Zeno, I think. He came to our house and he didn't like me much because he was. So I took his idea. I told him it was developed by the Apple of 30 years before he was born. But he told me what it was. And well, I think they did develop this thing. But well, I don't know whether they got them anymore, or they're using them. I don't know, horrible things. They told their atom bombs are tiny things the size of acorns, called acorn bombs. They can like 4 police cars at once or a bus, you know. So if you're on the bus, the bomb goes off, and people are fast, and nobody's left, like all vaporised. That's how bad it is. And so they don't report those. And of course, fear, isn't it? Fear, of course, atom bombs that can go in a pocket like that are very dangerous. There was a suicide bomber doesn't care about that. But you know, when I was in Russia, I was trained as a Soviet atom bomb, suicide atom bomber. But so it is. The idea is you carry an atom bomb. It's within a house room, quite big things. No, they'll just be atom bombs, tiny things, but atom bombs bigger. And you go into this city, put the thing down, set the 7-day timer, and clear it off. You don't come back 8 days later. There's no city. That's the sort of thing it is. Well, war is war. And Khrushchev invented them, apparently. Khrushchev's landmines. And well, they're not the only thing around. Unfortunately, if that happens, well, if they got through, well, last time they got the atom bombs, we managed to defuse them. And they did, well, I didn't get paid, and I was put in hospital for saying so, but because people were terrified, of course they were. And you think of a bomb coming down from a rocket, you don't think coming in on a public's backpack. And unfortunately, they do check backpacks now, hopefully, and they need to check every single person who comes to the country to see what's in their backpack. If they're wearing, you know, so because it could easily be an atom bomb. Yeah, I was there was another atom bomb scare. A Girl Scout who was American asked me what to look for. That's what it was. And it was pretty awful. But that's how we protect ourselves. Vigilance, that's what it is. And that was what I did. But when they treated me so badly, they take all my money, so I was not rewarded for what I did. I was given nothing. pretty upset about it. They put me in hospital for protecting Britain, you know. So I get for it. For protecting Britain, I get punished. You know. And I should have paid. The money I had was stolen, and I think my cousins were a source actually. They wanted my money, and well, it's taken it now. They're gone, but now they're trying to take the rest of it by saying I'm a vulnerable person, I need looking after, therefore I don't need my brain, and therefore they steal my house. That's what they're trying to do. They're actually trying to steal money. And my cousin's sick people. His family history is that my grandmother was raped by my husband's stepbrother, and the rapist was a criminal, and it's a different family called the Willistons. And they have the Williston genes, which are criminal genes, and my grandmother's genes, which are Goddard genes, which have got good brains. So they're good and evil geniuses. And, you know, that's how it is. And money triggered this off. And that's how bad it is. Now, Jenny was another person I knew. She would jeer at people, you know, who well, I'm quite sure what they did, but you know, she jeered at the big holes in it. You know. That's the sort of thing she was. She didn't care. She was a psychopath. And her father drugged somebody, took all her money, and raped her. But so she followed after. So he's killed her homeless. And there's a lot of people like that get into respectful positions and attack people. And unfortunately, that's how it is. So the quotation is only good die young. They finally got me, and I'm an innocent party. I don't know why I'm being got. It's because I'm talking about these evil things that happen here. They don't like it, because the whole of the country is involved. The whole of the ruling classes are evil. They say they care about us, but basically they just want us as cannon fodder or factory fodder. And well, there's some well educated, and so most of them are going to share, but you know, it's as it is. The people, rich people, they don't have lots of things, but they're not any richer than anybody else really. You know, a rich man has a big house, and he has well, he may be able to walk about the house, but he only has one room for himself when he sleeps. When he sleeps, he has one room, and on the bed, he's only one bed. And if he has a wife, several wives, he only sleeps for one at a time. That's all he is. Same as a poor man. A poor man, a small house, so bed is the same as nice. That's the nest. And the rich people have worries about soldiers, and money, and retainers. The poor man just gets on with his job. So who's better off? Oh. But it's always been like that. You know, the history of statehood is that a man discovers something of enormous value, like a lump of gold or a diamond or something. So he has this thing and finds everybody wants it. Well, diamonds aren't that attractive because I can't eat them. Gold also can't eat that later, really. And a lot of people like it. It actually looks nice, but that's what it is. And it's attractive because gold looks like honey and diamond looks like water. That's why people like it. So nice. And that's how it is. And the thing is, you have these who want it, so you build a house or a fortress to protect it, and you need an army of people to protect the fortress, and they have to get paid, so they go out and grab money from people. That's how the state is for. And that's what I was brought up to. And it's, I said in a book I had a charge for, basically. The person who wrote the book was not liked very much because it revealed an awful lot about people's behaviour, which is hidden from most people. And they say a brain damage something's loving and friendly. Well, usually it turns them into savages who attack people. And that's how bad it is. It's pretty savage. They put up a bit of metal, they turned it around. Person becomes from a happy, friendly person into a savage, abusive person who swears and stuff. It could happen to me. I'll be no different from anybody else. And and then the person later the wound is repaired. There's no visible, and of course the person's crippled for the rest of their lives. I don't know why they do it, but they turn them into criminals. They bash them about, so they stop winning transcripts, but they're unhappy people. A normal person doesn't commit crimes because they hurt another person. It's that reflexive. If you damage a man, it stops it. And people who do this are criminals. No one they get it from. It's to do with the church, I think. But obviously, God made the brain, and they think they're better than God. Nonsense. So I'm facing my death in perhaps it's now 6 o'clock. About 3 hours. So hopefully this will go on YouTube. Nobody will do anything about it, I wouldn't have thought. But nobody cares. They care about themselves, nobody else. Well, I've done beneficial things and no one killed me. What can I do? They scarred me for no reason at all. As I said, they weren't immortal. They scarred me, basically. So church runs the rules of the world by force, by a knife and the gun. Well, I knew it.